Davies. Tracy, thank you so much for joining me in this interview here. So first, why don't you tell everyone here at the One Conscious Love Network a little bit about yourself and who you are?
I am located in Chilliwack, BC, in Canada. Um, I probably about 30 years ago, I kind of get lost in time. So uh, years just kind of fold into each other. But about 30 years ago, I discovered that friends of mine would come to me and, uh, you know, tell me about an issue that they were having, and things would just fall out of my mouth. And it'd be like, oh, don't know where that came from. But it would end up helping them. And it would end up being accurate. And so I was just like, okay. And then it developed over time. Um, you know, just different things would happen as I would go through my healing process. More and more of my healer within would just start unfolding. And so I kind of developed this theory, if you will, that um, when you're willing to do your own work, then automatically who you are inside and who what wants to happen inside of you, your healer within, just starts to unfold. And I think that every one of us brings a gift to the world that heals, whether it be through music or dance or uh, art. I mean, I do a lot of different art as well. Some of it's behind me. I don't know if anybody can see behind me, but I have like a gallery of my artwork behind me. Um, so yeah, everybody has something that wants to unfold within them as a gift to the world. And I've discovered that that unfolds as you do your inner work. Um, so yeah, now I use what's called family constellation as a foundation of most of the work that I do, which is basically um, we have a tendency to carry baggage for our ancestors. If they had a trauma that they weren't able to process, uh, sometimes we inherit it, or sometimes we pick it up subconsciously. But as a result of carrying the baggage, or that particular baggage, we suffer. But we don't need to suffer. We can do what's called a family constellation, which is a way of putting down that baggage and still getting the blessings and belonging that we really need from our ancestors. And putting that down, it's not wrong that we carry it, but we don't have to carry it. All our ancestors need is to be remembered and honored for who they were. And the trauma to be respected and honored, so they can carry their own and they can process it. So I use family constellation as a foundation of whatever, to just look at an issue. And then from there, I have probably maybe close to 100 different modalities that I use. Now, some of those are taught professionally, like I've trained professionally for them, and some of them are just natural gifts. All of my art does energy. Some of it's infused with frequencies and or to shift specific energy patterns. And some of it is what I call charge pads. So the idea of a charge pad came through a dream. And I was instructed to create these charge pads that draw on the magnetic energy from the center of the earth. And then it's coupled, that particular, the magnetic energy from the center of the earth is coupled with the properties of the stones in that particular charge pad. And they address a wide range of issues. And then fast forward to present day, I'm now creating these resin coasters of the different charge pads that I've already created. So, hold on. So this is one of the charge pads and the coaster. So now I can sell this, which is easy to ship, whereas opposed the actual charge pad is heavy and big and cumbersome, more difficult to ship, and it takes a lot more space. So the coasters, the resin seems to enhance the energy, and then I've put different stones into the resin around the charge pad as well. So I do those, and then yeah, that's basically what I do.
That's so beautiful. And so you were mentioning when you started, you did finding your own as well, like finding your own way to health led you to healing others, right? So can you think back for those that are thinking of wanting to help others and healing others? Can you think back of a particular event or something that took place that made you think, oh, I wish I could do this, and then it started happening for you, like some of those modalities that you're saying came naturally to you? How did they came about?
Well, so I had gone to a retreat in Edmonton. Okay. And what I noticed in this retreat, like in the retreat, I was doing some inner work. And then what I noticed starting to happen was I started to see, like if I would look at somebody, I would see sometimes their innermost, like the innermost part of them, their essence. And then from there, I would get shown sometimes how they protect that, because we have a tendency, the innermost feels super vulnerable. And so as humans, we have a tendency to want to protect that. So I would get shown how that individual attempted to protect that. Or when we put protection, sometimes it also blocks us. And so I would get shown how that happened. And then I would get shown how it affected their life. So at this retreat, because that's where it started happening, I would tell people that wanted to know what I was seeing for them. And so I went from that to, I observed that for quite a few years. And then there was one day that I was just kind of out doing errands with a friend of mine. And I went, I wonder if I can use this as a method of healing as opposed to just observing. And it literally felt like a thought that came in one ear and left out the other ear. And it was like, how? That was weird. But then from there, I went to, I was doing a trade with another woman. And so she's doing her first session on me. And it's like she would pull things out of me and go, oh, do you do this? And I go, well, yeah, but you know. And I noticed that I just kind of discounted, like, that's normal, isn't it? And so from there, all of a sudden she goes, you have a gift. And she literally said the exact same words that went in the one ear and came out the other ear. And I went, oh shit. Oh shit. Uh-oh. What do I do now? And so from there, I kind of went, okay, I need to practice. So I phoned up friends of mine and I said, I need to practice this. Can I practice on you? And one of my friends said, well, I've been waiting for this call. So I did lots of practicing. And I went through a period of time where I kind of went, ooh, that's a lot of power. I don't know if I want that kind of power. Because the effect that I could have on somebody's life was a bit dramatic. And I was like, yikes, that's scary. So, of course, I had to do some work around that. But yeah, so that's kind of how that one developed. And then so that's kind of how the shamanic abilities developed from that practice. Is I would go inside somebody or inside myself, and then I would get shown pictures of what they were complaining about. And then from there, I would say, I would ask questions. I would say, well, what about this and what about that? And then I would get shown more pictures. And then I was just like, okay, I want this, this, and this to happen. And it would just get carried out. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I had a friend of mine that had, when I was doing some of the practicing, he had this wrist that was, he had had problems with for 15 years. And so he says, well, since you're practicing, can you just work on my wrist? So I was like, okay. So I go in, and what I discovered was that there was this little bone chip that had chipped off one of his bones, and it was floating around and getting stuck in places. So I said, okay, I want to find the bone, the chip, find the chip, take it back to where it belongs, reattach. And he said, like, I had to repeat a couple of times, but he said that his wrist had never been better. You're on mute.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, that's beautiful. And so many modalities over the years, many practices, like you said, art as well. So how can people
Yeah.
work with you? Obviously, we're going to invite them to connect with you. What are some of the ways that they can work with you?
Well, one of the ways is if they want to do a session over Zoom, then I can do, or I usually don't do Zoom. I usually do Meetup, but I guess if need be, I could do what I need to do to join Zoom and all of that stuff. So we could. There's potential of doing like a call on Zoom one-on-one, where I would, if I'm doing a Zoom call, I set up what I call, like, I have these boards, okay? And they're about 12 by 12. And I have them set up like a clock. So 12 at one end, 3, 6, and 9 over here. And then I have little like Lego figures, like there's a Dora, right? So I'll set up. I'll start by putting one at a time of the Lego figures to represent different things on the board and ask them to feel into them, and where does that one want to be on the board, that kind of thing. And that's just to kind of discover where, like, what's going on here and what needs to happen. And then from there, I might apply different types of energy work. Yeah. And then it might go into down the avenue of putting down baggage that doesn't belong to you. It might go down the avenue of needing a coaster. Like, I mean, people can look at my Facebook page and, I have a whole bunch of pictures of different coasters on there. They might resonate with that, and that might be where they decide to start. There's multiple different options.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure to put all of those links in the comments below. One question I always ask that I like the listen to all the different answers to, Tracy, is how do you choose conscious love every day? What does it mean to you?
I have multiple different ways, but I have this connection with like a magical tree. And so often when I want to be nurtured or things like that, I'll go to my tree. And with the work that I've done, I now have like I didn't do this, but it got set up through the work I was doing. But I now have like almost like a throne in the tree. And I go and I sit in that tree, and it feels like I'm being snuggled by my tree.
Oh, that's
So
so beautiful. I love that. And you live in such a beautiful area as well with so much wonderful nature. So that's great to hear.
yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we'll put all your links in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you all for watching, and please reach out to Tracy and make a new connection, make a new friend, see how she can help you find the healer within you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.